Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking into something pretty interesting. It's about some reports that are coming out about Donald Trump's plans for immigration.
Okay.
If he is elected president again.
Yeah.
We've got some excerpts here from a recent article that details some of these plans, and I think it'll be pretty interesting to unpack this and just see what it all could mean. So
sounds good.
So it looks like the big thing that this article is pointing out is that Trump is considering declaring a national emergency to implement a really large-scale deportation plan. And this information is coming from a combination of his Truth Social posts and then some reporting done by CNN. So I don't know if it sounds familiar to you, but this...
It does, yeah. This is reminiscent of 2019 when he declared a national emergency on the border with Mexico to fund his border wall.
Yeah, and we all remember how that broke down.
A lot of legal challenges.
Yeah, there were tons of legal challenges and lawsuits and all that stuff. So what do you think? I mean, if he does go this route, again, do you think it'll be any more effective this time, or do we think we'll...
I mean... It's hard to say for sure, right? The legal landscape might be a little bit different now.
Right.
But I think at the very least, it signals a return to like a very specific approach to immigration, which is one that's really heavily focused on border security and enforcement.
Yeah.
The article also mentions that there's some talk about reversing a number of Biden-era policies, which could have a really big impact.
Can you break that down for us a little bit? What would reversing those Biden-era policies look like in practice?
So basically, you're talking about things like stricter border control, a really significant increase in the detention and deportation of migrants. You know, it's really pointing to a much tougher stance overall. And, expanding detention facilities was actually something that Trump did in his previous administration. And the article even suggests that they're looking into the possibility of expanding detention facilities even further, potentially, by looking at existing buildings in metropolitan areas. And
I hadn't really considered that angle, the impact that it would have on urban areas. That would be a huge strain on resources.
Absolutely. And likely even more scrutiny and legal battles over these facilities.
And then on top of all this, the article mentions that he may prepare some executive actions.
Oh, wow.
Similar to those from his first term. And he could even potentially implement these as soon as he takes office. So what you might not remember, executive actions are essentially these presidential directives that bypass Congress. So they allow for a president to make some pretty swift policy changes.
That's right.
But, the legal scope of the executive actions is often
is a
very gray area. Yeah. So it seems like we've got all these puzzle pieces kind of swirling around. We've got this potential national emergency declaration. We've got this, focus on detention and deportation, potential executive actions. How do they all fit together? What does this tell us about immigration policy under a potential second Trump term?
Well, I think it suggests a potential for really sweeping and rapid changes to immigration policy. A national emergency declaration on immigration would undoubtedly face legal challenges, as we've discussed, and the impact on migrant communities and the entire immigration system would be immense.
Yeah.
And I think it also, offers us a little bit of a glimpse into his broader political agenda and potential future policies beyond just immigration.
Yeah, that's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts for us about what all this could mean?
Well, I think this information, if it is accurate, paints a pretty clear picture. We're potentially looking at a return to some really hardline immigration policies, a strong emphasis on enforcement and border control, and a willingness to use executive power to achieve those goals. And the legal, ethical, and societal implications of that are sure to be pretty significant.
Yeah. Definitely a lot to digest there. Well, thanks for breaking it all down for us.
Of course.
And for all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's a complex issue, and it's constantly evolving, so we encourage you to keep exploring it and, keep forming your own opinions about it all.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a fascinating topic. But until then, stay curious,